Now, received wisdom has it that with a cost of living crisis in full swing, this is a terrible time to be selling consumer goods. Yet there are some consumer-facing businesses that appear to be bucking that trend. One of them is Ultimate Products, the company behind Beldray Irons, Salter Scales and Constellation Luggage. Well, today it reported a 42% rise in full-year pre-tax profits to £15.8 million. Joining me now is the Managing Director of Ultimate Products, Andrew Gossage. Andrew, welcome to you. What are the kind of trends you're seeing right now in consumer spending?
Well, we're seeing a big emphasis on products that save money. So energy-saving products, things like air fryers, maybe slightly less interesting products like airers, slow cookers, etc. Anything that saves the consumer money is selling really well.
A lot of the goods you sell are obviously tied to people moving home. How closely tied are your fortunes to the housing market?
We never noticed a particular connection. Often when people decide to stay in their home, then they look to refresh. So perhaps they refresh items for the kitchen when they decide not to move. But I have to say there's all kinds of things which influence whether or not people buy our products, and housing is one perhaps on occasions, but not a key driver of demand for our items.
Now, you bought Salter, which I think is the UK's oldest housewares brand, in July last year. Has that lived up to expectations thus far?
Yeah, very much so. It's a fabulous brand. As you say, 260 years old, famous for its scales, but we also sell cookware and kitchen electrical under that brand. We've done the job we promised to do. We've integrated it, and it's delivered its numbers for the first year. So delighted.
What sort of congestion are you seeing in the supply chain right now? Is that still an issue?
It's easing as an issue. We're not back to normal, but compared to 6-12 months ago, it's much more straightforward. Shipping, for example, shipping rates 12 months ago were as high as $18,000 for a 40-foot from China. Now we're paying less than $3,000, so that's been really helpful. Reliability isn't back to what it was in 2020, but it's gradually getting there. So yeah, I mean, our focus now is very much on. We spent the last 2-3 years with sort of navigating supply side challenges. Obviously, what we're facing now is a demand side challenge.
You mentioned China just now. You've obviously got a big office and showroom in Guangzhou. Has that been prone to a lot of COVID-related disruptions recently?
Yeah, well, it was. We had to close it last week for a lockdown. Luckily, we'd already asked the guys to work from home because we did get a sense it might happen. I think China's going to be opening and closing on a regional or local basis for the foreseeable future. Really, our UK buyers haven't travelled to China since October 19, and we expect they won't be travelling there perhaps till 2024 at the moment.
Crikey, that's a hell of a long time to wait. You mentioned the demand issues. How constrained do you feel consumers are right now? How do you gauge your ability to pass on cost increases right now?
Well, we don't really plan to pass on cost increases. I mean, in terms of our input costs, they're broadly level. We had quite a lot of cost inflation last year. We've dealt with that. We are seeing some cost inflation from currency, obviously, but that's being offset by deflation on shipping. So yeah. I mean, we see our mission as to provide beautiful products for every home. We see ourselves as advocates of the squeezed middle. So our job is to make, through the value we deliver, is to make people's lives better, and no more important than at this time. There's no question that for people now, it is a severe challenge. But the way we look at it is this: the market for general merchandise is going to be smaller. It is shrinking, but it still remains a massive market, and our job is to get a larger share of that market. We're still a relatively small player, so we're gunning for market share.
Andrew, before I let you go, I'm really keen to know the answer to this. You joined the business from Mersey Television, the makers of Brookside and Hollyoaks. Going into consumer products from the wonderful world of telly is quite a switch.
Yeah, well, you don't have stock in TV, so we have quite a lot of stock in this game. Well, it was the connection was really through. I came in as CFO, and that role is often transferable, isn't it? And the private equity house that was invested in Mersey TV when they sold that business, they introduced me to the guys here. I was only expected to say a few years, but that was 17 years ago, so I must enjoy it.
Exactly. Well, far less prima donnas in consumer goods than there are in TV, that's for sure.
You might say that. I couldn't possibly comment.
All right, I'll leave it there. Andrew, great to talk to you this morning. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Ian. Thank you.
Well, still to come here on Ian King.